That's right. Find peace of mind. The Go Free method. We are rolling in, ladies and gentlemen. Rolling, go free. Great to see everybody. Can you hear me okay? Is the microphone working? And I see a bunch of wonderful people here today. Did you all hear about this? What's going on here with this new? Thanks to little Rubio, little foam party-Rubio, likes to go out and get into his little foam parties with a bunch of other men, and it's an interesting thing. Foam parties are for everybody, though. I didn't even know what it was. I looked it up and I thought to myself, wow, that's disgusting. That's really disgusting. Seems like people that do this, kids even do it, children parties. I don't know about the whole foam party thing. Has anybody done a foam party? Popcorn Power is with us. There's the great Imminent Rain, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful to see you. Thank you, Jay, and everybody who is saying that the sound is good. Could you hear me at the end of that bumper? Wasn't that magnificent? I talked over it just barely. Who made that bumper? That is Tim Fox Cordell. That is the great Fornull asking, who made that? It's awesome, isn't it? Tim Fox Cordell. 07s to Elaine Sabatino. Franklin, hello, brother. How are you? Dr. Dinger. Wonderful to see everybody. We got a nice little group here today. You will be the ones who will know and will be able to protect yourselves from what the women in our world, and let's not fool ourselves. I mean, men will be able to attempt to use these same tools that the government has provided by way of little Rubio, little Marco, and his foam parties. I can't see him any other way now. No matter what he wears, he's just wearing foam. Nothing else in my mind. It's disgusting. Plenty of other people I would be happy to see in just foam, but not Rubio. But nonetheless, we're going to be talking about this act to become law, bipartisan Safer Communities Supplemental Appropriations Act. This is the new restrictions on your right to self-defense, and the government, the Democrats, of course, wrote a broad bill to massively restrict your right to self-defense as their bodyguards continue to carry the latest and greatest firearms, because that's what Democrats do. That's what they do, because they're scum. Republicans do it as well. And you can see here, little Rubio and his little foam dress. Now I can't stop seeing that. Little Rubio walking down the red carpet in nothing but foam. What a pretty little daisy he is. A total enemy of the United States, traitor to the United States. And his constituency certainly would not have wanted him writing this and then this becoming law, restricting the right to self-defense in a way that is not going to put an end to psychotic murderers, but will indeed hamper law-abiding citizens from indulging their right to self-defense, celebrating, cherishing, exercising their right to self-defense. This, of course, is the red flag laws being revisited in a way that is far more dangerous than they were being visited upon the population before. Because now we have Congress defining, by way of little Rubio, these relationships so loosely as to be a one-night stand. And so a relationship now you need in order to call up the federal government and say, I don't like this guy. I think he's an angry sort, and he has firearms. I know he has firearms. So I want all the young guys out there, or guys of all ages, but particularly guys who are going to still be dating, trying to find that forever woman to to give him his children and to worship him all his days as a good woman should, mostly in the kitchen and the bedroom, the desktop, and the fender of the car, and wherever else he wants to be worshipped. But yeah, all guys should be really worried about this, because the way this is worded now is opens the door to, I mean, we already have a world where women are dominant. Women control the relationships. They have the power socially, in my opinion, of course. They have the power socially to do whatever they want. They and their word stands unless she has seriously besmirched her reputation. And trust me, it takes a lot in the West for a woman to ruin her reputation to the point where her word isn't just automatically taken above a man's word. And of course, we know in the legal realm, she dominates this throughout the totality of the West. Yes, there are exceptions to the rule, and exceptions prove the rule. Entropy is up and running. Odyssey, DLive, Cash App, wherever you would like to financially gift, I appreciate your financial gifts, especially when your life is going to be improved by the information that I share with you. And this is a big one. And if you have questions about anything else, we'll talk about that as well. I am, as you can probably tell, still most ill. But for you, I will come on a live stream and share this important information, because this is really important for the well-being of our men of all ages, but particularly young men. And like I said, let's just be realistic. A guy could attempt to avail himself of these tools, but the odds that it will work for him against a woman are slim. We will be seeing this used against our men robustly by our women, as we have seen in the past. Powers given to our women robustly used, sort of omnipresent, isn't it, with the use of power over the males of our race. This is also a big warning to white guys who think that you're going to date outside of our race, and things might be better there. Remember that the females of non-white races are going to have learned that you're a member of an evil race, and given the first opportunity to victimize you severely in this way, taking away your right to self-defense. And I will tell you, all you have to do to have it taken away, she will happily do it. She would happily do it, in my opinion. All of these things are my opinion, except for the actual facts here that we're going to be talking about. Your right to self-defense can be taken away by a misdemeanor, by a claim of a woman that you have had a relationship with for no more than one night. You hear that, guys? So the federal government is prepared and is, according to the law, to call your one-night stand a relationship, and therefore the woman that you've had this relationship with can notify the federal government, or I guess by way of the state government, perhaps, according to the law, that you were abusive. You said, and it need only be this, mean words to her. Did you hurt her feelings? Did you say she has a fat, sloppy ass? And even though she does have a fat, sloppy ass, her feelings are hurt by this. And maybe you like fat, sloppy asses. Plenty of guys out there that do. And so maybe you said it because you're like, yeah, she's got a fat, sloppy ass. I'm going to mess it up. And she took that as offensive, and she mulls over it, as women are wont to do emotionally, for a couple days, decides that you have aggrieved her. This is now a misdemeanor, hurting her feelings. And according to the federal government, she can then retaliate by saying you have firearms, and you're an angry person, and she thinks that you might do something, and they are coming for you. Now, of course, it says here, and I'm going to read just these little bits out of this law so that you'll know that this is real. Of course, it says here that you'll be able to get your firearms back someday. Don't count on it. Don't count on it. I'm still sick, but I did force myself to go to the gym today. I went to the gym. I forced myself to go to the gym because I wanted to infect everyone there. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was very careful. I wore like 14 masks, and I carried around a bottle of Clorox bleach, and I just washed everything down before and after I touched it. But I did go to the gym, and it felt good, actually. It was because Mark taunted me yesterday. He said, "Are you shrinking, mate? Are you shrinking? Are your muscles wasting away? You've been away from the gym for a few days. Are you ceasing to be?" And I thought, screw him. I'm going to go to the gym. And I did. And I had a great workout. We could talk about anything you want while I'm with you. We could talk about that. We could talk about this. I want you to also think about, you're out, you're going to have a conversation with a woman who might be a little anti-white. Maybe you all have a little bit of tension going on. I've seen guys who want to do this. I don't personally get it. A woman's views either take away from her looks or add to her looks for me. Maybe that's because I'm a thinking person and I'm not just some sort of barnyard animal. But if a woman looks, whatever her looks are, they're X, right? And if she is white positive, if she's got her head on her shoulders, she's white positive, she's like, this shit's not fair. And she's not nutty, you know. I mean, obviously, if she's like an ant gnat and she's just saying disgusting things, that doesn't benefit her in my eyes. But if she's white positive, then it can take her up a click. It might even take her up 2 clicks, depending on how she is, how she presents it, and so. However, she's anti-white, that could take her down like 30 some clicks on a scale of 1 to 10. So you can see it can really, in my book, it can add a bit to your physical attractiveness. And I'm not talking about like your intellectual attractiveness, because if you're white positive, to me, your intellectual attractiveness goes through the stratosphere. Physically, you become more attractive to me. I don't know why that is, but it is the case. And it's the same if you could be a woman could be and I've seen this before, like runway models or what have you. They could be like a 10, a 9 or a 10, like a genuine. Then they find out, oh, she's anti-white. And next time I look at her, all of a sudden, like all of these little things on her that otherwise were totally insignificant stand out, and she's hideous. Like certain toes are too long or something. It's like, oh my God, that's disgusting. Her knees kind of knock now, you know, and it's just all kind of stuff. Just suddenly she looks hideous. It's true. But some of you guys out there, you got a problem. You think it might be fun. You think it might be fun because maybe you're just like, you know, maybe you're just like a pig, you swine, right? And you're out there in the mud, and up walks some anti-white girl, and she's not bad looking, but she's anti-white, and you think, well, it'd be kind of fun to have some fun with her. Well, she's going to take away your right to self-defense. Don't be dumb. Jason is here to save you. Jason is here to protect you all across the white sympathetic sphere. How many others are coming to you, telling you about this to protect you? To protect you, to prevent you from losing your right to self-defense. And yeah, this is the United States, but make no mistake that this ultimately is applicable across Western civilization. In so many words, and so many laws, and so many social norms. We're talking today about, let's see, this is became a law number 117-159. These are just some of the facts about it becoming law. This is talking about Environment and Public Works here, Senator Marco Rubio of foam-laced Florida. Foam-laced Florida. 12005, a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence. The following was copied and pasted from DOJ website, the official definition of misdemeanor domestic violence. Criticism and belittling are included in the verbal abuse section of the definition. Acts constituting misdemeanor domestic violence. Now remember, before the red flag laws, you had to be married or common law married, as I understand it, for the woman to come forward and say, he's violent, he's got guns, you better go get him. And then the government says, is he white? Yes, we're on our way. SWAT is on our way. If you no, he's not white. They said, well, you can call back later. Not white? Call back later. He's white. SWAT is on the way. Gonna go get the guns. Taking this guy's right to self-defense away forever. Forever. Oh, but they say here you'll get your guns back as soon as a judge says it's okay. You know, most of us who have had anything to do with the injustice system, that sounds like such a conservative, such like a cringy way to put it. But that's really, there is no justice. The injustice system. Welcome to cringe, the land of cringe. Not the land of based, but it is injustice. You know that when the government takes something from you, you don't get it back. Be serious. I mean, you might from time to time, and then again, you know, you're hearing about the exceptions to the rule, right? You hear, oh, really? Fred got his truck back. Wow, that's a shocker. You know, everybody else, no, they lose their stuff. You never see it again. In fact, they sell it off, don't they? You can go to these auctions, and there are cops there all the time. They're buying boats. They buy all the stuff that the drug dealers, you know, they buy. They buy the boats, you know, they buy the full quads. You know, they buy the limousines. They buy a lot of nice things because they got a lot of money. And then the government, they just take it, and then they say, oh, you know what? We're gonna auction it right off before we have to give it back. What do you know? Can't find it. You know, some clerk is always, you know, answering the phone. We still haven't found it. We still haven't found your diamond rings, and I still don't know where that is. I mean, that's the norm for the government, right? Because they're stealing it. I mean, come on. And then, like I said, the cops come in and they buy these things for pennies on the dollar, you know, and they're always calling. They're always calling their cousins and their brothers, and they come in and they buy these things. You're not getting anything back. I mean, just realistic. It's my opinion. Criticism and belittling are included in the verbal abuse section of the definition. You used to have to be a married person, like the families were intertwined. It could be you are common law married. You know, you've been living together for what? Depends on the state. There are different lengths of time that you have to be living with someone before you're considered common law married. But you don't know, not anymore. You just took the broad and you said, hey, climb on the fender real quick, and we're gonna have some fun while the train goes by. Not saying I did that, and but not saying I'm not. And now she can say, hey, he's mean. You know, he was rude to me, and I think he has guns. You know, you're going to see this now. Women even saying that guys have guns when they don't. But just to sick, you know, law enforcement. Well, he told me he had guns. And then he'll say, I never said that. Guns never came up. And the police are going to say, sure, guns never came up, buddy. Where are the guns? What acts constitute misdemeanor domestic violence? Misdemeanor domestic violence may consist of assault or battery. Battery and assault are crimes. Battery and assault involve physical harm. So, you know, you used to have to, and I say used to have to, it was never really the case. But I mean, you could imagine if you're like this, if a guy's like this violent SOB, right? And he's like beating up the family or something. Sure. But that's just what they want to put out front. That's just what they want you to see out front in your face. If you're beating, you throw the wife, you throw the missus through the third story window, whatever it is, out the condo. And so your gun should be taken away, right? But you say you didn't use your guns on her. You just defenestrated her. Doesn't matter. But now all you got to do is say she has a fat, sloppy ass. You might say, I don't know. I mean, she takes her clothes off and you get a look at it and you're like, I'm getting off of that. I'm getting off of that. I've seen roast beef look better than that. And she says, oh my God, I'm calling the cops on you. Assault is the act of intentionally threatening another individual so that the individual believes a threat of physical harm is being directed at them. Oh, whether they believe it or not. Well, I mean, it makes sense though nowadays. If you can believe that you are, like a kitty cat and you are attracted to lawn furniture, and we all have to accept it, then certainly you can believe that you are under threat. A defendant commits assault if they scare someone into thinking the defendant will physically harm them. If you scare them. It goes much further than that. You need only irritate them. You need only upset them. You need only hurt their feelings. Maybe you've called one too many times. Maybe, like I say, you've insulted her. That's all it takes. To be considered battery, the physical force must result in contact that is unwanted or in physical injury. So contact that is unwanted. She can call on you and have your right to self-defense taken away. So that might mean what? She's screaming at you. She's in your face. You push her away. Contact, battery. Misdemeanor domestic violence can also consist of emotional abuse. You've hurt her feelings. Emotional abuse can involve verbal abuse. Emotional abuse also consists of criticism, upsetting statements, screaming, belittling, and manipulation. We're talking about women. We're talking about adult children. Not all of them. Many of them. Who it takes very little to convince of these things, especially depending on which 3 weeks, out of the month. If it's during those 3 weeks out of the month that might be a little off, who knows? It's like a roll of the dice. It's going to be, hey, she thinks you looked at her wrong. You got to be careful, guys, about who you're going to select to be around. Very careful about who you're going to select to be around. Any person found to be in violation of a misdemeanor of domestic violence shall be disqualified from shipping, transport, possession, receipt, or purchase of a firearm. Any person found to be in violation of a misdemeanor of domestic violence shall be disqualified from shipping, transport, possession, receipt, or purchase of a firearm. That's your right to self-defense. Gone. Additionally, this expands the criteria for those who are able to report the red flag risks to include dating relationships as defined by Congress. And here's a note on the red flag laws, and then we'll get to this definition of a dating relationship. Red flag law is a gun control law that permits police to petition a state court to order the temporary removal of firearms from a person who they believe may present a danger to others or themselves. A judge makes the determination to issue the order based on statements and actions made by the gun owner in question. Refusal to comply with the order is punishable as a criminal offense. After a set time, the guns are returned. You see, all will be fine to the person from whom they were seized, unless another court hearing extends the period of confiscation. I wonder how long they would extend the period of confiscation for heretics to anti-whiteism. Probably indefinitely, is my guess. This is the Congress's definition, and they amended the definition. It's broader now. A person who has a current or recent former dating relationship with the victim. The term dating relationship means a relationship, this is 37A, means a relationship between individuals who have or have recently had a relationship of a romantic or intimate nature. The paragraph states that if a person loses their right to own a firearm due to the domestic violence provision outlined above, then they can regain their rights in 5 years, as long as there is not another charge during that time period. You imagine having some priceless firearms. You know, a lot of people have firearms because they're works of art. You know, you'll have so many guns for maybe hunting, target practice, protecting yourself, your family, your property, and then you'll. Some guys have the guys that have the money. I don't have the money. Guys that have the money, they'll buy works of art. They're never meant to be shot, or if they are fired, it's like maybe once here or there. It's like cracking open the most expensive champagne, the most expensive wine in the wine cellar. So they're not meant to actually be used. So could you imagine the government comes in and says, we're going to take this priceless work of art away from you. You really think you're going to see that again? Come on. It's going to end up over the mantle of some anti-white, some swarthy anti-white who will giggle every time tells his friends about how they took another one of the white man's guns away. So bottom line is in so many words, white guys, especially white guys who are dating, the government, anti-whites, have given women, including ours, another extremely powerful tool to ruin your life, to take away your right to self-defense. Make sure the woman or women that you are going to be alone with are good people, are sane women. Make sure they're sane. Make sure they're good. Make sure they can't have an off day. How do you do that, Jason? Well, you're going to have to spend time with them in the company of others. You're going to have to spend time with them, talking to them on the phone, whatever else, what communication, so you can determine that this is a good person. This is a person that's not going to lose it and decide one day that a comment that she overlooked 3 months ago now is a grievous wound to her spirit and soul. And she's going to pick up that phone and she's going to tell law enforcement that you have weapons and that you are an angry person. That's all they need now. That's all they need now. I felt scared. He insulted me. Misdemeanor. You insulted her. All you did was hurt her feelings. Think about the power that gives women. Think about how much further it imbalances the power structure in a relationship between man and woman. Already, there is a massive imbalance in the West between man and woman. Already, the man has no rights. He's got no power whatsoever. But now we're relative to women. But now we're at the point where all you got to do is hurt her feelings. and she can ruin you for hurting her feelings. That could be a misdemeanor, and on the grounds of a misdemeanor, on a superficial relationship, your right to self-defense is gone. Who else is telling you about this? Who else cares enough about you to warn you that this could happen to you, that you got to be careful about who you're going to be around, who you're going to be private, alone with? Because you're alone with somebody, remember, it's going to be her word versus your word. So you better make sure she's a good person. No sleeping around. No going from one floozy to the next. No picking up the barfly. No thinking to yourself, oh, I'll have the 30-something at the bar because she's trying to consider herself a cougar, because really she's just a wore out, loose as a tire swing, and nobody else will get with her, and you're going to go have her for one night. No, you better not. You better watch your ass. It's not worth it. Nothing on a woman's body is worth your life getting ruined. Nothing. So you otherwise have to cultivate a friendly relationship to find out, is this the same person? What's she act like under stress? Is she vindictive? Does she talk about going after her friends, or does she talk like where it's not warranted? I mean, obviously, if there's something that's warranted, but where it's not warranted, does she suddenly like grow horns and the canines come over her bottom lip, and she's like, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna burn them down, you watch. Run. Don't think it's funny because it's not you. That's somebody happening to somebody else. Run away. Because that person now has the ability to say, my feelings were hurt by this guy. I think he might be kind of rough around the edges. Misdemeanor, right to self-defense gone. So, you're welcome. Let me take a look at what you all are saying or asking, talking about, and then I'll roll out of here. The sun is setting on the once great state of Virginia, outside of Mordor on the Potomac. Question everything. Hello, how are you? Has tagged me. Have you heard about or talked about the 60-year-old Dominican shopkeeper in New York City stabbed another non-white during the course of a robbery and being beaten? He has a $250,000 bail and being charged with homicide. So he's a Dominican, and the other non-white was it like a black non-white? So this is like a Hispanic non-white, and ended up killing a black non-white. I have not heard about that. But that's not surprising to me at all. And this disharmony of biospiritual disharmony is what we call it. It will continue unabated whether we're present or not. So this is Western civilization, every town Western civilization, as I was just tweeting. And not surprised at all. We're going to have to get mad as hell and implement the Go Free method in our lives and in our dealings with others, so that we can change the story that we're in. This is, consequently, I really want you all to appreciate, consequently, the thing that works, the method of Go Free, is also the thing that's legal. And it also is the thing that puts you in the position of the moral actor in a moral framework. You should use it, right? You should use it before it's too late. I mean, I'm not going to force you to. I can't do that. If I could, I would. If I were a dictator, trust me. I see Exo is here. Carvaki is here, however it's pronounced. Hello to both of you. Let me take a look at entropy. Okay, entropy is blank. Is it not working? In fact, I'm the only one on it. Let me take a look over here. Okay. Blank there. Let me see how you all are doing on the live chat. Big hello to everybody. Elaine Sabatino, great to see you. Promethean hails to you, sister. Azimuth Clark is here. Anglo-Saxon, wonderful to see you. Elaine says, I hope you're feeling better. I am doing better. I would have more energy right now if I hadn't gone to the gym. But, I went to the gym. I couldn't resist. I did squats at the gym. I did cables for cable cross. Well, they weren't. I'm not crossing over for the chest. It's sort of like a underarm movement that comes upward. I meant to do and totally forgot to do leg extensions. Darn it! I can make up on that. Triceps. I did triceps as well. Upright row. And this was heavy. This is heavy week, so I have fewer reps and more weight, and it's amazing. I continue to see, even in this state, greater and greater strength. So I'm really happy with that. Don't know why. Unmapped Insights is here. Hello to you. The great Franklin is with us. Hello. Caleb is here. Angry is here. Hello. Tom is here. Welcome. Foster, hello. Says hello, Jason, and the rest of the Going Free crowd. Kip. Yes, indeed, brother. Kip to you. Let me have a quick look over here. Oh, yeah. And who else do we have here as I slide through? Hamilton is here. Hello. And looks like Jilly is here. She says, hello there, sir. Wishing you the best of the West. Well, thanks. Yes, indeed. Best of the West. Nathan Lentini is here. Cheers, brother. Superb stuff on behalf of white men hitting the road in the early morning here to start the long journey back to America, once land of the brave and soon to be again. Amen to that. I like that attitude. Some great determination. What do you all think of the Georgia Guidestones being blown up? What about that, huh? Adam is with us. Warren is with us. Hello. JD is here. Hello and welcome. Who else is here? Who's in the background? 0022. Who's in the background and not talking? Athos is here. Welcome. Archangel is here. Welcome to you. Coconut is here. Welcome, dear sister. Adam. It's a crow. Is that a crow? Face. Is that what it is? Welcome and hello to you. The great Fornull says, hails. A big Promethean hails to you. Good champion. Wonderful to see you. And Shauna Shaw is here. Hello to you. Great to see you. Yeah, somebody blew up one of the slabs of the Georgia, what is it, Guidestones? What are they called? And, of course, many believe that it was put up by, erected, paid for by Ted Turner. There's theories about it, but it had, there were a number of languages. It was also some sort of like a sundial of sorts, and not exactly a terribly challenging thing with modern tools today to do that. I think there's supposed to be some type of a time capsule underneath of it, but they released video of one of these vertical slabs being blown up. They did not, as far as I know, release the video of who placed it, of the explosives being placed at the site. They're going to, of course, know all explosives unless, well, they've got tags, explosives. and the government, state, federal, they'll be able to have a look and see where the explosives came from, and they'll begin the process of tracking it down. I don't know why, if somebody really wanted to take the Georgia Guidestones down, why do they didn't just drive a backhoe up there, run them over, throw a chain around it, pull it over, and then just drive away. I'm not saying to do that, but obviously it was some demented people, I think, that because the number of the population would have to be, you'd really have to kill a great many folks. So it's a curious thing. It was a curious thing. Maybe we'll eventually know, right? Who put it up? Maybe not. But are they going to dig up? Well, the Georgia went in and knocked them down, the rest down, because it was hazardous. They could fall down on people. At this point, it was no longer properly balanced. So they went ahead and they knocked them down. But are they going to open the time capsule? I mean, really, it hadn't been there very long. What could be in the time capsule? Yeah, bulldozer. I mean, you got a lot of people out. Tractors. All it would take is just a tractor, right? You just get out there with a tractor and a chain. And plenty of good old boys could easily have done this. Why use explosives? Just get a tractor and a chain, throw a chain around it, and start driving. You pull out one slab, the roof would probably fall. That would break everything and probably go down like dominoes. What ended up happening is they blew up one of the slabs, and part of the slab on top was blown away as well, so it stayed. I think if you pull the slab out, it would be imbalanced, might fall. You might even be able to wrap the chain around the roof, the top slab, and one of the other slabs. And then when you pull it at an angle so that it does do a bit of a domino effect. It would break everything up if you really wanted to take it down. I never went and saw it. I mean, I couldn't have cared less. Psychos sounds to me like that. Put that thing up. But then it became an attraction. And I don't know if the town was making any money off of it. Was the town making any money off of it? That would be a shame if there were like little businesses that lost money. Promethean Hails 0022. Mary is here. Welcome. Good to see you, sister. All right. Well, I think that's going to be about it for tonight. We're trying to set up the after party this week, and we'll let you know. I mean, I know it is. There's obviously going to be Friday or Saturday or next week. So keep an ear out for that, and we'll try to get somebody good. And if you have any suggestions about like a live stream you would like me to watch, right? We could do that. We could watch a live stream. I could make fun of the people. We could have a good time doing that, right? I could just point out how wrong they are. Are there any debates out there that I could watch and break down? Make these suggestions in the threads under the videos, and I'll have a look and think about doing that as well. So anything, our ad for Jason Goes Political is doing unbelievably well, and I will update folks on Sunday. In fact, I think on the 4th of July we were over 1%, so that's like epically good, and we want that to continue. I think we're going to continue doing advertisements one way or another, or for one thing or another related to white positivity and going free, the go free method, the shows. We're going to keep doing that on Gab because it's economical, relatively speaking, and a lot of good people on Gab. I don't know when it comes to Twitter. Musk ends up actually purchasing it, I assume the prohibition for advertising for folks like us would be gone. Well, it's not really a prohibition. Everybody knows what it is. I mean, they make it just impossible for folks like us to operate. So they might make it possible for us to operate over on Twitter advertising wise, but it would just be cost prohibitive, is my guess, because he's going to want big companies spending tons of money, tons and tons of money for advertising. I don't see it working for us. Well, we'll give it a try, but we'll see. We'll look into it, but he's going to have to complete the purchase, which we don't know if that's going to work out or not. Case 33 says, great advice for the kids out there. Yes. Be very careful about the women that you're going to be just even alone with. All right. Guys out there, just even alone with, because then it's a her word versus your word. She could say you all had some sort of intimate encounter and there have been no intimate encounter, and maybe she's pissed off about that. I've had more than a few women who have been upset that they couldn't have their way with me, and then tried to claim crazy things as a consequence. Women get really, when they're scorned, when they get fired up, when they become a part of the me neither community, they get real dumb, and they are willing to tell outrageous lies. You were lied to. I was lied to by our mothers, sometimes by our father, but mostly not the relative to this specifically. It's by the mothers. You know, you grew up and your mother was always telling you, if you're a little boy, that as a little boy, you all can lie. You all can just be thieves. You all could just be cheats. You all could just on and on and on. And that little girls that grew up to women, they are just pure as the driven snow. They are just all good and everything nice. And you all know, like, that little disgusting little rhyme. We really have to rewrite that little rhyme about boys are snails and all of this, and girls are sugar and spice and everything nice. Bullshit. I've had to sugar and spice, everything nice. I've had to fight them off, and then they're willing to tell whatever lie to get revenge because they didn't get to get some. So they're more like children in adult bodies that are lying, thieving, just malevolent malefactors. That's what they are. That'll be the new rhyme for the kids. Right? Girls are lying, thieving, malevolent malefactors, and everything awful. Not all of them, of course, just most of them. The other ones, the good ones, come here, as you can see. And they know very well. They say the same thing about the rest of the female population. They know too well. They're like, yes, he's hitting the nail on the head. And they don't care. They don't care. There are more girls like that are more women like that are showing up in the world. I've noticed. I think maybe that's the case. Maybe not. But I think there are more women that are like, wow, women are wrecked. And because they're having the conversations with women, and they see, like, the decisions they make for our country on how thin of evidence, no reasoning and logic whatsoever, just like a pure emotional, just stream of emotional consciousness. And they see that and they're like, oh my God, why are these people voting? Yeah, I would like to know that too. I'm not a just all women shouldn't vote, and like, because that's like a men should vote. And I'm going to tell you what, men, the majority of men they could not pick a good leader. They have more luck or more skill to, or more chance, I should say, maybe more chance, I'll say this, more chance of confusing their ass from a hole in the ground than being able to pick a good leader. I mean, you just can't do it. A lot of guys would like to pretend, but men confuse knowledge for thinking. Women confuse emotion for thinking most of the time. And they don't know what a good leader is either. I mean, they might be, when it comes to decisions for a nation state, mildly better, but by no means a lot better. By no means. I mean, it's really pathetic. But yeah, guys, watch out for who you're going to be spending time with, because now the federal government says a relationship can be a one-night stand. It can be an intimate encounter, according to their words, at which point she could say that you are guilty of a misdemeanor, and that misdemeanor can consist of you hurting her feelings by saying something she doesn't like, and or you just piss her off, or it could be an outright lie, and then the government will take your right to self-defense away. And this is effectuated by the likes of foam-wearing Marco Rubio, little Marco, in his evening foam at dinner tonight. Look at all the foam. Look at how sparkly, scintillating his foam scintillates as he enters the rotunda. Just look at his high heels, because it's the only thing he has on aside from the foam. So it's because of Republicans that this is out there. Republicans. You know, Nick Fuentes, I got sent a clip of Fuentes talking about this video, a campaign video of some black guy in Arizona. Boy, this really just is freaking me out. I'm putting this together now. We have that, what was her name? Like Tierra or Tay or something weird. Tierra Mack, something weird. And what is she, like Rhode Island? She's in the government, and she is a homosexual female. She's non-white, she's black. She's rabidly anti-white. So she made a video of herself headstand, and she's bigger. She's bigger than like massive. So she's bigger than massive. And she made a video of her, which is, you know, a size that some people like, and she likes, she's proud of, because she got into a headstand and in a skimpy bathing suit and twerked upside down, which is, you know, this is America. This is American governance now. So you've got this anti-white black woman on one side of the country, and on the other side of the country, Arizona, you got this black guy that's supposed to be a Republican, and apparently he has, and apparently Fuentes was like, I only saw, I don't know, like 2 minutes of this spectacle where he was like coming unglued, rightly so, coming unglued, because the campaign video is this black guy, this Republican, saying we need a Second Amendment so I can kill white people. Seriously. I mean, he doesn't say I can kill white people. What happens is it's 2022, and he has like an AR-15 and like 10 Klan members, one with like a baseball bat with barbed wire wrapped around it. They come rushing up on the property, and he needs the AR-15 and a banana magazine on it, so that he can just gun them all down. So then he's got his like shades on, and he's like locking the magazine into place. And, you know, here they come, and they've got like, one has like a garden tool. It's like a garden tool. It's like a mini pitchfork. It's like a rake. It kind of bent like a hoe. And what was the other weapon? A hammer. One of them had like a hammer. That was it. So they would come to like these white people were coming to do some villainy there. They got their sheets on and they were showing up to do some villainy because in the anti-white narrative, the Ku Klux Klan exists. So even for the Republican Party, they don't exist in the real world, but in the anti-white narrative, they're ready to parachute out of C-130s onto a innocent black person, innocent non-white person anywhere, any moment in time. They run up and then they turn to run. It goes back to a shot of this black guy, this Republican, holding his AR-15 with a banana magazine in place, ready to roll. And the final scene is a Klan hood floating in his fountain, I guess, or his man-made pond, because he's oppressed. He's non-white, so he's oppressed. So he's got a pond, and so that, of course, implying that he's gunned them all down. And what Fuentes was all bent out of shape about, and I would be too if I were reviewing this, was that there were all these white people who in the thread that were just ebullient, absolutely like ebullient over the ad. This is the greatest thing ever. It's the most magnificent ad. Yes, gun them down. So the message there is any white people who aren't anti-white are Klan members and they deserve to die. That's the message. And this is the new Republican Party. Democrat Party is inverted, shelf-like twerking. And so that's America now. Bring in, play the Hail to the Chief. Cue Hail to the Chief. You got this black one over here gunning white people down who aren't anti-white enough, and the Democrat Party twerking. And I also saw a clip of Tucker saying, yeah, let's have this demand of the Democrats that this Tierra Mack be named their presidential nominee or made a head of state, something. I agree. She should be. The Democrat Party should immediately, no more white guys in the Democrat Party. None. Shouldn't be one. Fornell says the memes of the twerking lady at the Guidestones is hilarious. I guess probably they've mixed her twerking and them coming down. I haven't seen it. I'll have to look for that. Yes, and Franklin's right. Anti-whiteism uniparty. I mean, this is some really sick shit, isn't it? Tony's here. Hello to Tony. Nancy Drew, great to see you. We're really in hell. We are really in hell. You've got the face of the Republican Party. Now, you got these campaign ads that are celebrated, killing white people, and who aren't anti-white enough because the Klan is everywhere. And the Democrat Party inverted twerking. Thank God things are running, perfectly in this anti-white hell. We do have a financial gift, so I am grateful to the great Casual Cruising. I haven't seen you in a while, Casual, or have I? €5 financial gift. Thank you so much. I haven't received a financial gift in euros in eternity, so I really appreciate it. Helping to keep the lights on here at White Wellbeing Central. $5 financial gift, or €5 financial gift, which is worth plenty more dollars since Biden and crew, they just keep printing them dollars out. Printing dollars. This is very concerning indeed, he writes. Thank you for bringing this up. I'm not a citizen of the USA, but it's known that you are currently the dominant culture in the West. So everything that happens there will come to the rest of Europe eventually. Thank you for being an adult. Thank you for being mature and an adult. That's exactly the case. The anti-whiteism, I mean, the United States is the superpower of the world for now. And the anti-whiteism is strongest here. And it is then pushed out to the rest of the West as a toxin, not by the United States, but by anti-white. So don't confuse the two. I'm not saying you are doing that, by no means, but I see that sometimes when these myopic, these purblind nationalists of some little country here or there, and they want to blame the United States. It's a foolish thing to do. The United States is inside of them as much as it is inside of me and the people, the white people who live here, and we're part of its creation. What's happening now has nothing to do with the United States. For Null saying, what is this? Like to shift from the dystopian timeline to the proper timeline where Jason is president and Maximilian Fock is vice president. Yes, my artificial intelligent assistant, Maximilian von Fock. And he would be the vice president. Wouldn't that be something? Athos said that. Well, thank you, Athos. That's a great idea. That is a great idea. That's the proper timeline. Where I'm president. I'm not president. If I won the presidency, I would never leave. I mean, this country, we are not going to be able, we're not going to be able to recapture the destiny of this country by playing by the rules, while the Democrats and the Republican fellow travelers won't play by any of the rules. So, if you come to me and you say, well, to do this, Jason, you're going to need that, just like they did to Trump. And Trump said, oh, okay, let's do it that way then. It never gets done. It will never happen. Ever. You're going to need to raise your own army, police, maybe. So I would have to raise my own police with federal funds. And I would just take all the taxes for that. I mean, look at Andrew Jackson, where he had conflict with federal judges. He said they can decide all they want. I control the army. So I would need ruthless police that we would give authority to over all of the other law enforcement in the country. And they would be able to go kick some doors in and drag people off to tribunals that we would hold and they would be tried for treason if necessary. And if they were innocent, then they'd be set free and would still be a lesson to folks. I mean, look at what they do now. Look at what the Democrats do right now. You can, if you're a Democrat and therefore a staunch anti-white POS, you can commit any crime. This is my opinion, of course. You just could commit any crime you want. You're going to walk, or you get a slap on the wrist. I mean, it's crime after crime after crime. Our whole lives, this country is dog shit. The country is dog shit. It is a total joke that there is any scintilla of legality in the United States. What a joke. What a joke it is to try to convince intelligent people that there is any legality in this country. It is dog shit. It is a powerful, corrupt bastards get to commit any crimes they want. And we see time and again, they just get to walk. And if you get in their anti-white way, well, you can be an old man then. And you all saw this over the past handful of years. So if you have it's a hard time to remember, then you need to go, I don't know, maybe you need to get some Prevagen. You need to get some sort of medication for your brain. But I mean, they were going to like senior citizens' houses and the SWAT busting through the windows and doors, the federal SWAT, pointing their MP5 right in their faces, throwing them on the ground, cuffing them and stuffing them and running them through the legal system, bankrupting them with legal warfare. I mean, come on. Come on. You're going to say, well, no, you need to obey the rule of law. If you get power, you need to obey the rule. You need to do it. You need to mind your P's and Q's. You need to be punctilious from start to finish. Bullshit. You're not gonna survive like that. I mean, look at Trump now. He's practically hiding out in his fake Oval Office. He won't give a statement one way or the other. He just is endorsing about whether or not he's going to run. He just keeps endorsing one just mediocre after another to one absolute reject after another, where their staffs are anti-white. I mean, come on. You're going to have to be Andrew Jackson. You're going to have to go in there and say, okay, new federal police. You know, I don't know. What do you want to call it? The Patriot Police. The armed patriots. And they'll be scary as hell. You won't want them to come to your house. It's not going to be like a couple of guys in dark suits and sunglasses. No. It's going to be guys with like the latest firepower and high-tech gadgetry to like ruin you with sound waves and light waves. And they'll bring with them Rottweilers with mini explosives that they can deposit on you after chewing you up pretty good. And then they're called back to their handler. So nothing like Rottweilers with machine guns on their sides. They'll have vests with machine guns, and the Rottweiler, and you'll hope that the guns go off before the Rottweiler gets to you. Big, male, hungry Rottweilers. And they'll all be like in black and gray. These armed patriot, or whatever you want to call them, police. They'll be in black and gray. And could you imagine like the head of the Justice Department? He's like dragged out, like literally by his neck, by these armed police, when he decides, oh, we're going to let all of these Democrats go. Oh, really? Okay. This is all fantasy. I mean, I'm not advocating for any of this stuff. I'm not in a position of power. You know what they say about treason? None calls it treason if it wins, but if it doesn't, you know, you're not in a position of power, then it's just treason. So it's fantasy. But I mean, that would be, could you imagine? That would be some real power. I think a lot of people would be really happy to see like the scum dragged out of their castles. Like you have this son of this, I'm not going to say his name because the AI is always listening for it, the ear against the door. But you have this son, and he's out there. I don't know, he's in his 30s or something. He's like, yeah, I'm going to change the world with my father's billions, and I'm going to make it even more anti-white. Imagine him. He's just like, you get footage of him like with 4 Rottweilers just on him. Oh, I guess when you are a treasonous POS, you know, this happens, you know, the new federal police come after you. It's a good fantasy. Maiden DE is here. Great to see you. It's talking about like 95-year-old people. So they go from World War II. They're still going after folks from World War II. Okay, well, we'll dig them up. We'll dig them up. Let's go find Kennedy and his Immigration Act. So we're going to go find him. We'll dig him up, and then we'll desecrate it somehow. I don't know. That would be how the fantasy would go. Not for real, of course. It's just a fantasy. Promethean Promulgation is here. Great to see you. Yeah, these people are anti-whites are absolutely sick. Unmapped Insights says it right here. Jason's right. Ruthless times call for ruthless remedies. Yeah, you can't have a. Trump was, he's a brilliant businessman, but that's a businessman. I mean, he's so compared to like the actual underworld of business, which people with that much money can easily operate. He's like a choir boy. Apparently, he won't even take payments in cash ever for his whole life. Because he's like, that's what the mafia does. Don't bring me cash to me. How much good did it do him? You don't, I don't know what it is. You know what I think? I think this idea of, and this is why in Prometheus Rising, I did not write Prometheus and the good guys as like this, I don't know, like cherubs. And that's this idea that we get in the West when it comes to how we're supposed to defend ourselves. We're supposed to be like cherubs. I don't think so. In a universe, in a world where you can be an enemy, can put something fetid in your water just unscrupulously and dishonorably as all hell and kill you rather than fighting you in open combat. In that universe, you've got to be willing to do that to win. If there's another universe out there that God has created where you're not able to do that, where some force stops you from being a lying, deceiving, unscrupulous, cutthroat bastard, and every conflict has to be met like an open battle where all of the rules and all of your stances and all of your positions are written on your chest for the world to see. If there's a universe like that, then great. Then you should go visit and maybe stay. If that's the way you think that we're going to have to behave in order to reclaim the United States, do some good here for the United States and the citizens of this country, you do know that there are towns in Texas, and I think where else? Arizona, that have legally declared. Now, this is maybe I heard wrong because YouTube is listening. So maybe I heard wrong. So check it out for yourself. I heard that there are towns that have legally declared this intrusion by peoples of other countries to be a legal invasion. They have declared it officially an invasion. Now, I don't know whether that's 100% true or not. I wasn't there, but this is what I heard. It's been in the news and even in news agencies that people at YouTube would like. So, but still check it out for yourself. So, I mean, you got how many people coming in a month? The numbers are so ridiculous. The numbers are so unreal. Maiden DE Deutschland says she'd dig up FDR. Yeah, well, 100,000, 250,000. I mean, how many are coming in a month? They have the ones that they actually get a hold of, and then the ones that they encounter but get away. And then there are the uncounted ones, the ones that they don't see that are obviously getting away. These people are all going to end up voting. I mean, you have the Democrats in Arizona and I think other states as well that are continually stymieing every effort by local Republicans, and is the National Republican Party even involved in these endeavors? It's like always the local Republicans, just showing once again that the leadership of the Republican Party is corrupt anti-white POSs. But to prevent these folks from forcing proof of citizenship to be able to vote in federal elections, what could be the purpose of that endeavor? If not to get people to vote who are not citizens. Of course, one side is saying we want them to have to prove that they're citizens. The other side is saying, nope, they shouldn't have to prove that. Who gets to vote then? And they win. The Democrats win. Again and again. What time is it? 8:30 on the East Coast, United States. Big thank you to Casual Cruising for the financial gift of €5. Oh, let's get a big 07, some raucous emojis, please, in this live chat, a cozy live chat. But nonetheless, we have, what shall I call you? Oh, Marco. We have Marco. Is this Rubio? Marco financially gifting $20. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. He says, good job for all that you do. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. We're going to start running, because of the success that I have when I make ads, which is wonderful. Because of that success, we're going to be running more ads on Gab. And then maybe, depending upon how expensive Musk wants to make Twitter, if he does end up buying it, maybe ads there too. But that's going to be the only way to get the Go Free method out to as many people as possible. Just come to the realization that most of the people in the white sympathetic sphere, they're wonderful people. They're wonderful people. But most of them just are more concerned with their egos, their aggrandizement, their wealth. Other things come before the well-being of our people. So when the Go Free method is succeeding in a big way for many thousands of people working in multiple countries around the world, and different languages even, it's working. Going Free clubs. Become a member of a Going Free club. Become a member. The contacts are below. Become a member of the outreach team. Become a member. Do something. I think I want to call this, anyhow, they see this, the Go Free method. And we can thank Mr. V, I think, for that coinage. Wasn't that Mr. V? I got it from somebody. You see, I'm not the guy that you see everywhere else. A lot of people are really jealous of me. And I get it. If you saw me playing sports or outthinking you or horizontal, whatever, I get it. I get the deep jealousy. Or if you stood beside me at the urinal, I get the deep jealousy. But when it comes to the well-being of our people, I am the way I have been in every team scenario. I'm a team player. I was the guy who in American football, I'd rush down the field 30 yards, get tackled, turn around, run back, find the guys who threw the blocks that enabled me to go 30 yards and jump up on top of them and celebrate them for their kick-ass blocks. I was the guy who during post-game videos, and we would look for our errors and things, I was the guy who would shout, holy crap, look at the block, whatever his name threw. Holy crap, look at whatever. So every time I did something that worked and that went well, I found the people that helped it to happen, because I know that everybody else can see the people who also saw it, and that is how it ended up happening. And I know it's the only moral thing to do. I know it's what a true man of the West would do. He wouldn't stand up and say, "Oh, it's all me. I'm so special because of the team effort." No, he'll strive to do his best and do his best and be his best. And he's part of that best is acknowledging and celebrating all of the other champions who are rocking it, who are making it happen. These are messed up. There's a messed up world. Why are there so few real men and women of the West anymore? This is a messed up world. And then you can have these like little runts out in the world who just want to self-aggrandize, and they actually can get an audience. That boggles my mind. That really I would not give such a weak charactered person any genuine time at all. I mean, if they were useful in some way for white well-being, some sort of the paths cross here and then they can diverge again, that's one thing. But yeah, so I got no problem talking about how successful or accomplished I might be here or there, but there are people who are more accomplished and successful than me on this team. Some of them don't want their names to be known. They're smarter people. They're better educated people. They're more intelligent people. There are people who have talents that I'm so talentless in that department that it seems like they seem like aliens to me. All right. Like bass guitarist with his riffs. So anyhow, we need to work together, and we need to continue to work together and actually do things, because there's it's becoming increasingly obvious to me that there's a really big divide in the white sympathetic sphere between those who, and I don't know, maybe for now the placeholder name might be counterfeiting credit. So, and by that I mean, when you're counterfeiting credit, you take credit for and celebrate the successes of others as it's like somehow like your team. You know, it really reminds me of when people do this, and there are content creators and organizational leaders, and then their whole following will follow them with this counterfeiting of credit, and it is perfectly reminiscent of sports ball losers. Perfectly reminiscent of sports ball. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? You have like the guy at work. I mean, I can't tell you how many. Oh my gosh. The guy at work, and he's all fired up and excited about his team. They did X, Y, or Z. Now his chest is out like this, even though he's got a bird chest and no muscle, but he's got a big old belly under it. Got a big old belly and a deep belly button he likes to dig at. But he did it. You know what I mean? You didn't do shit. I used to be, when I stopped playing sports, I used to find it most how do I say? I used to have vicarious embarrassment to the point of almost feeling nauseous when I would see people behave this way. It's one thing to have like a local team. We really don't get that at the professional level anymore, anyhow. Not even at the college level. So if you want to have like a local team, like your town, and you want to be a supporter of that, you want to go out and root for them, it's got to be like the high school team or something like this. And you don't take credit for their success. You're happy about their success. You don't say, we did it, right? But that's what you see. And it's this weird psychological crutch that people in the white sympathetic sphere use to be idle. They don't do anything because they can be excited if Trump says something nasty or funny to somebody. Then they're like, yeah, he really got him there. We did it, guys. We're on top. No, you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. So you got to do things. If we're going to change the world, you got to do things. Incidentally, it's actually legal and moral what you can do that defeats anti-whiteism, and that is the Go Free method. You need to implement the Go Free method. You need to learn it. It's very simple. It's a practice. You implement it in your life. It just comes down to using concepts and to addressing the poisonous ideas that you've been infected with. It's easy. It is easy. Go and get involved in a Go Free club, and you're off to the races, bettering your life. You protect your children with it. You could do that. And you inoculate them. You don't vaccinate them, but you inoculate them against. You can vaccinate if you want, but you inoculate them against anti-whiteism, the poisonous ideas that they're going to hear everywhere, that end up with this little girl we just watched in this video the other day, where I was sick out of my mind. I could hardly breathe. My breathing sounded like I was underwater. That's how bad my breathing was. Just like both directions. I probably should have been in the ER. And I was furious out of my mind. This little white girl saying she doesn't want to be white. She doesn't want to be the bad people. She wants to be brown so that she can be the good people. And then her white mother is saying, oh, but it's okay. We're going to make friends. That's what reconciliation is all. We're making friends now. Except it's a storyline that never changes. You see, that storyline was in place when I was a kid. And when the folks older than me, when they were kids, same storyline. Same way for that little 7, 8, whatever 9-year-old she was. Same way 20 years from now, if we don't change things, it's reconciliation. We're making amends. The only way to stop that is to inoculate them with the Go Free method. Very simple. It's very straightforward. Nothing mysterious, nothing arcane, nothing esoteric. It's very straightforward, very simple to implement in their lives. You're not going to succeed by telling them to be proud of being white, by telling them about our ancient holidays. I'm sorry. I love everybody in the white sympathetic sphere. White positive, all the way out to the white sympathetic sphere. Christians, Catholics, Mormons, atheists, and the different pagan varieties. So many of you come to me. I hear you, and you're saying, oh, all we got to do is teach them about this religion. All of these religions have failed. They have already failed in battle with anti-whiteism. And not only that, I mean, it's very recent. It's very recent. You can see people in these different areas who said, I know them, who said, no, I'm going to raise my kids according to the precepts of the XYZ, and they'll know how important because they know about the Havamal, or they know about whatever it might be. And then guess what? It doesn't work. Because anti-whiteism is psychological warfare. It is designed to undermine those things, and it has already undermined them. So you need the Go Free method. Why am I telling you this? You could just come on Sundays. You come on every Sunday and you learn. You don't have to give. I mean, it's pretty wretched when you get something and you never give in return, but all right. And you put it on all of these, these few good folks who are just giving and giving and giving. That's a pretty terrible thing to do. But anyhow, you could just come, learn this, go away with it, and benefit from it. So how is that? How could that be like a selfish thing for me? The only way it's selfish is because I love your kids because they're white. I love Western civilization, and I want them to be inoculated against anti-whiteism. So if you want to say that's selfish of me, fine. That's how I end up succeeding there. And you have this other thing with the folks out there who's saying, "Oh well, Jason's got a big ego." Could you imagine? I mean, I got big things. Could you imagine caring about white people, and then there's a white guy out there, and he comes out and he's like, "Hey," and there's a bunch of other champions around, men and women, champions around this person, and they're like, "We got something really working here, so we want to tell you about it." And they're like, "Get a load of those guys over there. They just always talking about how well they do. Let's ignore them." I mean, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Anyhow, guys, watch out for the ladies out there, because they can take all your guns away. They can take your right to self-defense away from you just by claiming that you aggrieved her, you hurt her feelings, because when she took off her knickers, you told her that you were suddenly hungry for Arby's. And that's it. They're going to come and take your firearms away. And even though it says in here, as I read, they'll give them back at some point. Don't count on it. They're not giving shit back. And if you're one of the exceptions, that's awesome. I mean, more power to you. Thanks again to Marco. It's not Marco Rubio. It's the good Marco. Let's see. Spartan over here on D Live says, "Is it hot in here?" I mean, he didn't write that. Is it hot? No. AC's working. I guess I'm just still sick. All right. I know plenty of you out there would just go ahead and chance the COVID to climb up on my lap for Christmas. You know, I dressed up as Santa Claus for relatives. I was a muscular Santa, so I didn't quite fit the bill. But maybe that's how the new Santa should look, right? I'm not like a bodybuilder, you know. That got a little ridiculous, didn't it? Like all like the kids' toys. For a time there. I mean, now if you're a little boy, what do you get now? I mean, I don't even know. I'd rather give a little boy like stick figures. My imagination, I didn't need the toys. I didn't need them to look like they did. I did it all in my head. I took pens. I was like, this is a spaceship. And I could see windows on it. I could see the jet propulsion. I could see where the missile ports and laser ports would be on it. I could see where the helm would be on it and the windows there and the people looking out through the windows. I didn't need the stuff that maybe you should, you know, for the kids. You give them some stick toys and you say, hey, you got to do it with your imagination or not at all. And then that develops the cerebral cortex. But, you know, for a time there, they were making the toys. I mean, you had like the He-Man. I get the He-Man. That was like it was meant to be that they were all like bodybuilders. But the rest of them, they ended up being like bodybuilders too. For what? Come on. That's not how a real man, he can have some muscles, but he's not going to be a bodybuilder. Give me a break. Bodybuilders, you see them like, more power to them. You know, in the gym, they look great. They're throwing around a bunch of weight. Very impressive. Not really the bodybuilders so much. They can be strong. Power lifters are the ones who throw around a lot of weight. That's very impressive. But my father always told me, he said, you never want to get, son, to a point where you don't look good in a suit. No matter how much muscle you put on. You get to that point where you don't look good in a suit anymore and you got to stop. You got to rein it in. And I just never got to that point. I was never wanted to be a bodybuilder anyhow. I was an athlete, so I had to be able to function. But I wouldn't get there anyhow. Let me see what this is. Spartan says over here. Says, I agree that all the religions have failed us as whites. Amish are decent at staying free because they cut away from the lying TV and they keep close to each other but I think it says cutting away cars. Oh, by, not but. Yeah, they have to be close to each other because no car. Oh, I can hear again. Wow, that's awesome. Let's make this AC work a little better. Some sweat. I don't want to start like taking things off. Might make for a better stream, but at least for some. But the thing about the Amish and the Mennonites and all, they are an anomaly that can only exist in Western civilization. And similar anomalies can exist in non-white countries that are buttressed and bolstered by Western civilization. So there used to be this, and there still is, but I kind of like shocked the world several years ago when I made statements that those in the white sympathetic sphere weren't able to prevent from reaching larger audiences in the white sympathetic sphere. And that is that we are not going to become a Brazil. We can't. Brazil only looks like Brazil or Venezuela like Venezuela because Western civilization is there to maintain and force that structure in place. As Western civilization deteriorates, those countries will deteriorate. And that phenomenon of what you understand like a Venezuela to be today or a Brazil today, the ingredients that enable it to exist, like the ingredients that enable an Amish community to exist, will be gone. Once those ingredients are gone, you'll then have a much more natural outcome, right? Much more violent. Much more violent. All right, I'll take a quick look at what you all are saying. We're having fun. We're having fun. Marco came through, and so did Casual Cruising. Great to see the both of them. How long have we been going? I don't even know. Been having fun, though. But guys, watch out. Have you listened to the first part of the stream? You've got to watch out. Women now have mercurial. Do you know what that means? I'm not talking about capricious. I'm not talking about whimsical. I'm talking about women are mercurial. They can go from one mood to another in the blink of an eye. And if you end up saying something that they find insulting and you've had a relationship as defined by Congress, which is a one-night stand now, you can be charged with a misdemeanor. And they'll take your right to self-defense away. I'm warning you guys out there because I care about you. What else am I getting? How do I benefit? I'm going to watch my back. I could just be like, you have these people come all the time on the television and on the internet, and they're coming out to you and they're saying, we got this great investment strategies. If they had great investment strategies, they wouldn't be telling you. You know that, right? They're telling you because they want you to buy their junk. If they got great investment strategies, they're out at the Riviera. You're not going to know what they got. Because they don't benefit from telling you. I only benefit from telling you because I care about Western kind. Because I care about our people. Because we've been shit on and lied to. And now we have these anti-whites crazily giving our most mercurial sex even more power over the men. Even more power. Not all women, but even more power. Can you imagine? He said my boobs were too small. Now he won't answer the phone anymore. He won't call me. He won't call me back anymore. So I'm going to show him. I'm going to call that phone number I saw on the television, and I'm going to tell them that he said some nasty thing about me, hurt my feelings. That's a misdemeanor. And I'm going to say he's got guns and he's capable of being mean. So I don't know what that might mean. And they're going to come and get your guns for good. Did you read? It covered like everything to do with guns. Not just you can't buy them, you can't sell them, you can't transport them, they can't be in your presence. Everything. You got to get smart. There's no part of a woman's body worth your right to self-defense. If you're a virgin, you got to take my word for it. And if you've been with a woman or women, you know there ain't nothing, no part of it worth your right to self-defense. They all got the same parts. You just find one that's a good person, that you don't got to worry about doing something crazy. All right. What was I doing anyhow? I don't even remember. I got up. It was a funny thing. I was thinking today that I was at the gym. And I probably shouldn't have been at the gym, but Mark yesterday, he's like, "Are you shrinking, mate? Are all your gains wasting away?" And I was like, "Get there wasting away, man. I'm gonna go right back to the gym. I don't care if I'm puking in there. I don't care if I faint in there. If I pass out, I'll wake up." So I went to the gym. In fact, I went to 2 gyms today. And I was in there today and I was thinking, that whatever you have is not normal when you have memories back when you're a child in the summertime and you're at the pool and something happened. You're playing with your friends or whatever, and it happened a couple times. Everybody has this memory had it happen in their youth. And you're like, you come out of the water and it's coming out of your lungs and it's coming out of your nose and you're coughing and you're trying to regain and your friends are laughing at you. And then you finally get it back together and you're like, oh my God, I almost drowned there. And you go back after them. You know those memories? When you have flashbacks of that, from what the sickness is tasting and smelling like with the fluid and everything, you know that you got something. You know that something's not right inside your lungs, right? When your sickness reminds you of like quasi drowning at the pool in the summertime when you were a kid, that's a strange sickness. You're like, oh, I remember that feeling of all the liquid through my nose and sinuses and throat and lungs. That's when I was drowning partially. But I had a good workout. I forgot to do leg extensions. I'm pissed about that. I meant to do leg. How did I miss that? I did butterfly today. And I did shoulder press as well today. So that's not behind the head, military press. I recommend never to do that. That is tough on your rotator cuffs. Does anybody do that? The behind the neck military press. Have you heard it under a different name? Don't do that. That's an unnecessary lift. Because you could do fabulous shoulder presses and not come close to injuring yourself. But this thing, I remember when I was young, I used to show off. One of the ways I would show off was, I guess I'm in my prime. And when I was a child, I would do pull-ups to the back of my neck. I would do to the front, to the back, to the front, to the back. Then I would do like a quasi one-handed. It was a two-handed pull-up. One hand was holding the bar. Later in life, I did do one-handed pull-ups because my dad was always like, a real man can do a one-handed pull-up. And I was just like, shit, that means I got to do it then, Dad. So, but then I wasn't. I would grab my wrist when I was a child with the other hand. So one hand holding, the other hand. But I'm not talking about curl-ups. Those are easier. I'm talking about pull-ups here. But that's not good for you either. Going up to the back of your neck. That's not a proper, I remember this, not a proper motion. I've told y'all before, I've mentioned the powerlifting guys I worked out with. Ben was the main guy. And he told me, he was talking about different mechanics of the body and motion. And he said, he had a way of putting things. I've told you before, the guy was like, he was gold. He was gold. And he said, when we were living in the wild and you had a bear chasing you, did you run up to the nearest tree and start doing this with the branch? Or were you going like this, trying to get away from that bear? So it just made perfect sense. The mechanics is what you have to be a natural, you have to be in a natural motion to get the most out of your exercise and have the least chance of injury, right? So those other things can be for show off, but you chance hurting yourself. And what's the use? What's the use? So wow, folks, wow. 07s, please. 07s. Dude bro moment. This guy is going to have he's already got his own video. We made a video. Already got his own video. Going to have his own statue as well. $50. He says for white well-being. Who is this masked man? Who is this masked man? Did somebody put up the dude bro moment sign into the night sky and he shows up again? That is awesome. What a reputation this guy has built. What time is it? Can I have a coffee? Can I have a sip? I shouldn't. This is triple shot. It's probably the only thing making my heart beat right now. Dude bro moment, financially gifting $50 US. And he writes here, for white well-being. God bless you, man. Thank you so much for that. And everybody, that's a grand testimonial, isn't it, right? To be giving that kind of financial gift. He knows this works. What you hear today about the opportunity of women to abuse power that the government has given them, and how this is a danger to our men who are dating. And you should tell the men in your lives, because if they don't hear it from me, then they're not going to hear it from anybody if they don't get it from you. So you got to make sure they know to protect themselves. This is no joke. If you love them, if you care about them, you got to make sure they know about this. All it takes is a misdemeanor. First of all, a relationship defined by the government is a one-night stand or more. And then all it takes is her to be offended, her feelings hurt by hurtful words. And she can bring hell on earth down upon the man. Thanks to Marco Rubio and his foam dress and parties that he likes to participate in. Little Marco. Not our Marco, who financially gifted $20 tonight. This is the good Marco. This is the antithetical Marco to that Marco. Rory Herbert is here. Great to see you, brother. 0022 says, are you running for state or federal? It would be state to get started, unless there were some kind of and it would be almost not likely at all. But if there was some sort of unique opportunity that suddenly presented itself, but most likely, almost certainly, it will be a state position, maybe in Virginia, maybe elsewhere, wherever the opportunity to win is best, so that I can really get in there and begin to make noise, like Jim Trafficant. Do you remember Jim Trafficant, the Democrat? Ohio? That guy was badass. I met him in person. I got pictures with the guy. He was badass. He didn't cave. He didn't cave all the way. They put his ass in jail. He didn't cave. They had to kill him. They killed him, in my opinion. I mean, supposedly the tractor just rolled and rolled and rolled. Maybe it was just an accident, or maybe it was murder. Who knows? But he went after some of the biggest. He went after the Israeli lobby and the IRS. So you have to be. I mean, he was a little wild. I don't know if he was. He certainly didn't have the mission that we have. So I would not be as reckless as he was. And I think I would get far more attention on what's really going on in the country. Especially, like I was saying on Jason Goes Political, we have to own the resistance to the Democrats. And that does not mean taking over the soul of the Republican Party. It's complex, and of course it has to be. It's not going to be a simple, don't you just like raise a flag and you create like a little tune for your little party or your little group, and you have a little moniker, you have a little image, and you have a little. No. They've beaten all that shit. They have all of that shit in checkmate. All of it. $0022 says, I'm voting for Jason. Yeah, what we'll do is, when I run for office, wherever it is, we all need to we somehow get residents so we can all vote for me. Maybe we'll be the only ones. I doubt it, but we've got to do whatever we got to do to get me in office. Here's the question. If and when I win an election, will the rest of the white, I'll say it this way, I'll just ask, how will the rest of the white sympathetic sphere respond to that? What do you think? I mean, can you go from studiously ignoring me, not talking about our successes, to suddenly like, wow, one of ours is in office? I mean, can you do that? Caleb says, nice bobblehead you got, brother. No. It's not a bobblehead. That is an action figure. The head does not bobble at all. That is an action figure. Yes. And there's a button on the back. You wouldn't believe what happens. Coconut says, hope you get better soon. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I'm working on it. I feel better. I mean, I don't think I would have been able to. No, I wouldn't have been able to do the gym a couple days ago, even taunted viciously. He even taunted ruthlessly. I mean, I would have gone, but it would have been real bad. It would have been real bad. Rory says, I taught both my daughters to shoot archery, crossbow, and firearms. Wow, that's awesome. In Pennsylvania? That's fantastic. My buddy had a crossbow. I didn't have a crossbow, but my friend did. And we shot the crossbow all the time. That thing was fun. It was fun. And then we made a bad decision with the crossbow because we weren't at the farm, and we were in suburbia, and we decided that there was a bale of hay, so you can't totally be blamed. So we put the bale of hay in the back of the garage, and we then loaded up the crossbow, and we fired it at the bale of hay, and it disappeared. And we thought, oh boy, it's in the hay. So how are we going to get it? How are we going to get the arrow? We pulled the hay out, and we were, it's a bundle of hay, trying to figure out how we're going to get it out. Then we noticed there was a hole in the wall. And so we ran around back, and we noticed there was a hole in the siding. And we found the arrow. It was in the ground. So that's okay, though. I mean, accidents, right? Accidents. Larka says, you don't look in no way sick. Really? That's magnificent. You wouldn't believe the kinds of things that I can do when I'm sick. I mean, when I'm like in this state, like struggling for oxygen, you would not believe the kinds of things that I can do. I don't know if it'll be like that forever, but while it lasts, let's see. Tom's talking about building forts. Yeah, we built forts everywhere too. Please tag me with No White Guilt if you want me to see what you're writing, so that because otherwise I'm gonna miss it. Oh yeah, we played Army all the time. I mean, it was nuts. We got out into we would go in, this is like suburbia, right? And we would be in neighbors' yard. It was, it wasn't 100% white, but there were a lot of non-white people. It was like every year, it was just like seas of non-white people pouring in. But still tons of white people, a lot of white people in the houses. And we would be like hiding in amongst their rose bushes. And I'd be like, I have a plastic M60. So many times, it's hilarious. And these women, or these men, they'd be like, son, are you lost? No, I'm playing war. Oh, okay. Try not to step on the Gerber daisies. Okay. I'm safe under these horribly thorned bushes that lacerate me every time I move. They'll never see me here. Corey's with us. Ridgeway, Giannis Ridgeway. Slots is here. Great to see you, brother. The great Slots. Face says, Jason has arms like a wood cutter, doesn't he? Yes. Yes, I do. Azimuth Clark says it was Kuna Claus. Remember? That's right. It was Kuna Claus when I was dressed up as Santa Claus. Kuna claws. I don't come down the chimney. I kick the door in. And I say, where the hell are the anti-whites? Kuna Claus is here to get rid of the anti-whites. And then I grab Aunt Betty by the scruff of her neck. And I'm like, I don't care that you're 70, bitch. We're sick of your anti-white bullshit. Victorian Time Traveler is with us. Great to see you. Man. All right, let's see. Thank you all for celebrating Dude Bro Moment. Rory Herbert is talking about boobs. How did that come up? Did I talk about boobs? I mean, I know I'm a little out of it with the sickness. I had a dream last night. It wasn't about boobs. What was it about? I had a couple dreams last night. We should do like a breakdown of my dreams. Hyperborean Dream is here. What a coincidence. Victorian Time Traveler, that's yet another reason we need to defeat anti-whiteism so that the Amish can continue to live their lives. Well, I agree. I could see the Amish coming out to fully support my dictatorship. This is 0022 is asking about this, what we're talking about here tonight, and we have the name as the Bipartisan Safer Communities Supplemental Appropriations Act. It is now a law. It is now the law. It went through the committee, Environment and Public Works. That's the committee it went through. 625-22 became public law number 117-159. Victorian Time Traveler says Santa is actually buff. Well, I hope it's not too buff. I don't. The bodybuilder just doesn't. It just doesn't seem like usable. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with bodybuilding, but it just, a guy should be in shape, but he should also be cunning as all hell. You know what I mean? It's got to be an obvious mix of brilliance and brawn. He kicks the door in. Santa is here. Why are we talking about boobs? Did anybody else talk about boobs? He says more than a handful is a waste. Rory does. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. It depends on the woman, right? I mean, some women are hot as all get out with little tiny chest, right? Some of them, more endowed, they look better that way. I mean, if you got time, and you could play around. I mean, you don't have to. You don't got to be able to ride everything on the jungle gym the first day or in the first 5 minutes. you can stay, you can play around long as you want. Well, and if you're a man and you're in charge, right? So Rory knows that that's the case. When you're a man and you're in charge, you're just like, this is the way it's going to be. And that's when the ladies like it anyhow. They don't want to be in charge. Trafficant was awesome, said Forno. He was awesome, man. His wig was the best. His hairpiece was the best. The best video of Jim Trafficant was when he came out of, he was getting interviewed, and he had called the Republican and Democrat legislators prostitutes, and the news was acting like they were gut shot over, like, my gosh, how could you say that? And then Trafficant said, I'd like to apologize to all the streetwalkers in the nation's capital for having associated them with these, like POSs that work in the federal government or whatever it was. I was like, oh my God, I love that guy. Nobody was more based, as they say, than Trafficant. And then nobody knows this guy's name anymore. Hyperborean Dream says, does your website contact work now? Yes, it should be working. If you send me something, say this is Hyperborean Dream, and go ahead and send it this evening, I'll look for it. Lockie is here. Should I talk more about boobs? I'm going to start coughing. Boobs like me. Let that be a quote that I'm remembered by. Maybe my epitaph. He once said, boobs like him. Unsure how they will respond. They may start rallying more in whatever state you choose to run in, thinking they will be protected more realistically. Well, where I run, right? Yeah, we'll have to very carefully select where I run. But I don't know that AntiWhites, I wouldn't necessarily or automatically say they're going to put their best after me. And the reason why is because I think that they are used to these functionally comatose voters on the Republican side. And so they probably will think that, well, these functionally comatose voters are never going to, even if he gets elected, he won't be able to go further than X level, whatever it is. Because, all of these women of both sexes are going to get so nervous about the things that he's saying that he won't go far. And in fact, maybe they would hope that I would get into office and then say things they would be thinking in their anti-white narrative, that I would be saying things that they could use. But of course I wouldn't be. But it's a possibility, yeah. Yeah, we can. Yeah, just go ahead and send your votes in, postal votes, like Rory says here. And send in your postal votes for yourself, your younger self, and your older self, and your demised self, as well as any pets you might have, real or fictional. I don't think that anybody should be disqualified from voting. I think I might take the Democrat position in this. Everyone should be allowed to vote. Isn't that right? Earl Ward has joined us. Great to see you. He thinks so too. Everyone should be allowed to vote. And so, yeah. What would be weird, who might end up really liking me, because I would be a total dictator. There would be no women in my office. None. It would be all ruthless looking, brilliant men. And so there'd be no chance of scandals in the office or sexcapades or something. I mean, if I want to have somebody come in for some fun, then that's something different. But nobody's going to be working there. There's not going to be any like triangulation in the staff or anything like that. It's going to be like ruthless military environment. And what might end up happening, though, is Hispanics have demonstrated in their countries that they favor strong men. They will vote for strong men. So who knows? Maybe they'll end up voting for me. Maybe my biggest voter base will be newly arrived Hispanics that are not citizens yet, and I'll get millions of votes from them, and then that'll put me over the top. They'll say, yeah, he seems ruthless, just like what we had back home. Let's put him in charge. Montana kid says, no Hooter girls. In my office? No. I mean, not working there. Now, maybe when I have like campaign activities, yeah, we could have the Hooter girls come out, but not like the modern ones. I mean, I don't go to Hooters. I'm not as impressed with. Some people are impressed with I think it's really funny, the guys that are like, I like the food. It's really just the wings that I go there for. It's not the titties. It's the wings. And I'm like, yeah, it's the titties. And they're not even impressive. I mean, I think they used to have like a standard. Didn't they have a standard? They said, this is Hooters. You have to be stacked to be here. Not anymore. Mary's leaving. Good night. Have a good night. Lots of good dreams about yours truly. It's not that way anymore. No. In fact, they're ugly. They're hounds. I hear that rap, or is it a rap? Jamaican rap or something? Who Let the Dogs Out? I think that's like the perennial song playing at Hooters these days. Who let the dogs out? I know. Probably not everywhere. I mean, you could probably find some honeys, but not here. Not here. I don't go. I don't like it. I go there for the wings. I'm really just a wings guy. Really? You don't go there for the boobies? Are those on the menu? I'm too straight-laced. Brent, is that what they were called? Baja men? Who let the dogs out? Yeah, I mean, you sit down I had to go, the last time I went to a Hooters, I had to go, I didn't want to go there. A business, I don't want to give too much away. Some people that I had a meeting with wanted to have the meeting there. And they were, kind of the kind of dorky guys that you might expect when I go there. But anyhow, I'm not saying everybody that goes there is dorky. I went there and I told them, I said, I don't know about going there. It's not clean. It's like the thing that they're known for, or supposedly known for, are good looking women that have nice boobs. They're not known for cleanliness. I don't think the food's great at all by any means. It's loud, it's just raw. It's just like down market. But the thing they're known for is not there anymore. It's not true. It doesn't hold true anymore. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Have anyone been to a Hooters where the guy come out as a waitress? I mean, a guy, not somebody born with a penis who says that they are a woman. I mean, a guy. Are they doing that yet? Didn't they win a lawsuit? Anyhow, I showed up there. I mean, this thing walked up to the table. She had like teeth that were sideways. She had sideways teeth. And my pecs were bigger than her breast. And she was like, I don't know, maybe 5 feet even, sideways teeth. My pecs were bigger than her breast. And she was also She's about 5 feet wide too. Well, maybe about 4'8". And she's in that orange outfit with that white tank top. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. I was hungry as all get out. I got there. She said, what will you have to eat? I said, nothing. I lost my appetite. Yeah, he's a wings guy. He's a wings guy. He's a thighs guy. He's not a breast guy. I said, but it's supposed to be for the titties. No, it wouldn't be 0022. Very unlikely that it would be federal. At least the first office would be state. I would be talking about. While running white erasure, and I would be inviting all good non-white people to join us in putting an end to anti-whiteism that is destroying what they care about, everything they care about as well. So some good white people would, non-white people would vote for me, and maybe a lot of brand new Hispanics that just crossed the border, happy to cast several votes for me because I would be ruthless. Especially if I learned how to say something like real mean in Spanish. That might that might be all it takes. Real mean. Like helicopters for you in Spanish. And they would be like, you've got my vote. Yeah, Franklin said the Carlin physique. That's funny. Yeah, it was. It was like the Carlin physique. She came over, and I'll tell you how bad it was. Like, I was looking around the Hooters. Ugh. I was looking around, and we actually had, I don't know whether she was maybe a manager or maybe one of the girls that trains the other girls, but she came over and she was like malformed. She was taller, and she was gross. But it was so bad in there. I was like, why can't she be our waitress? That's how you know it's bad. I want this malformed one rather than the other malformed one with the sideways teeth. All right, what do we got here? Double 022 Hyperborn Dream asking if I'm on OTC meds. There is a strip club, says 0022, on the end of the street, entering my neighborhood. Damn. So many women I met rather worked there or later worked there. Not cool. Yeah, man. He says, not that I knew that when I first started talking to them. I always stopped talking to them when I figured that out. A lot of broken souls in those places. Unfortunately. I mean, if I'm gonna have somebody, I want my, you know, they have those. Kate talks about this. These, like, when you're getting ready to eat your chicken, and they're like, this chicken was free range. It lived a really good life till we killed it, fed it to you. It was so happy up to that moment. It was in just blissful. And then we put it in heaven. You saw what I did there, didn't you? That's how I like my strippers. I mean, if they're going to be all deranged and from broken houses and everything, that just doesn't sit well with me. They need to be raised in a happy place. They need to be raised in a happy place, have good lives, all the way up to the moment that they lose all their dignity in front of me. All right. Some guy told me that he ate the wings at the strip club. Ooh, nasty, 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 nasty. I said, gross. I wouldn't eat wings made in a strip club. I wouldn't park on the same block. Dude, Bro Moment says, you like your strippers in heaven. Yeah, I like them to be. No, they get to be in heaven by stripping for me. They got to be raised. They got to be raised in a wonderful place, a wonderful, clean environment where they're kept happy all the time. They're allowed to look for their food outside. They get so many hours outside in the pen, in the sun and in the grass, and they can look around for their food in the grass so that they're happy until the moment they have to lose their dignity. Yeah, Fernald says mutually exclusive, sane, and stripper. And we're talking about that. Now, just imagine I can tie this back in to the point of this roll in. And that is that young men out there, old men, whatever age you are, middle age, maybe you're in your prime like me. Do not date strippers. It takes one night stand. The federal government says it is a relationship. And then all you have to do is upset her. And these lasses, it's easy to upset them. And then they can say, he hurt my feelings. And that is defined as a misdemeanor. She can say, he's got guns, and who knows? Seems like he could get violent, and you lose your right to self-defense. Don't get anywhere near strippers, for the love of God. For the love of God. Well, let's get out another round of raucous emojis and 07s, because the good Marco has come back again with another $20 financial gift. Thank you so much, brother. $20 more from Marco. He says, you made my night. Those Rubio jokes are hilarious. Rubio and the foam, you know, that's real, man. Or at least it was claimed. And then I don't think that he made much of an effort to say that it wasn't so. So it's kind of peculiar that that he didn't do much to say and prove that didn't happen, that he didn't go to these foam get-togethers and do whatever they do at foam. I imagine they suds each other. Oh, that is disgusting. I imagine they clean their cars. Cars. C-A-R. Imagine they clean them there with all the foam. And maybe that's what needs to happen the next time Rubio. Maybe I should go to Florida and I should run for his seat. And I could just show up at the debate and nothing but foam. And I could say that I just wanted to make little Marco feel comfortable. I'm there in his most prized attire, foam, from the foam parties. I see the foam parties. I don't know if you've all seen it. I didn't know what they were. I looked up the pictures. And it reminds me of when the ocean has a lot of like human waste in it. and the waves are crashing and makes the big like weird foam, and you don't want to touch it. And then you see people out on the beach that don't know what it is, and they're like running through it and screaming and giggling, and you're projectile vomiting when you watch that. Reminds me of that. So just gross. Yeah, little Marco. Yeah. Now, the one thing that is true about this is it's not retroactive. So they can't say, she can't say that maybe you went to Hooters and you flirted with the waitress with the sideways teeth, and you went home with her, and then you went to the hospital afterwards because of all the lacerations from them sideways teeth, and you had some choice words for her, and she decides that her feelings were hurt because she can't do anything about her sideways teeth and her little mouth. I mean, ultimately, it's your fault. You shouldn't have been trying to go in there, but she can't do anything about it, right? And so she's now going to call up the police and say, hey, he made me feel bad about myself. Well, if it happened day before this thing went into effect, you're good. You can go ahead and show up at Hooters and laugh at her again. No, don't do it again. But you can reminisce about it. Flotsam and jetsam. No, it can't be. It's not retroactive. But now they define it as a one-night stand, as a relationship. So, guys, watch out. Watch out. Rory says, I might be a little too young to remember a band called the Hooters from Philadelphia. They produced a great album in '87 called One Way Home. What was one of their big hits? One or two of their big hits? Sounds mildly familiar. All right. The real Vincent is with us. The same damn surreal NWG stream. This some damn surreal NWG stream. high on possibly COVID or not. Summer Lee is with us. Over there, she's over on Odyssey, and she says that the YouTube stream keeps pausing for her. Is it pausing for anybody else? It's pausing because it's getting the vapors from everything I'm saying. Spartan says over there on D Live, we should get land and build a tent city for Jason. A tent city for me? Bless you. Votes will come from one tiny spot on the map. The tent city? All right, let's make it happen. Art Acrobat says he's not having a problem with it. Real Vincent says, get well soon, Jason. Thank you. I appreciate it. Rebel Scum, baby girl is here. Great to see you. How are you doing? Satellite was one of my favorite hits from the Hooters. Mama's going to buy you a Cadillac. Now, wait a second. I think I remember that. 0022. Yeah, you don't have to cohabitate. You don't have to live together. Mama's going to buy you a Cadillac. That sounds familiar. Let me see. I can't play it because you know what they would do at YouTube. You could do, if you're someone else on YouTube, pretty much anyone else, you could do like anything. In fact, you could be a total psychotic murderer giving every signal that you're going to go out and kill people. And YouTube is like, yeah, that's cool. Based, do whatever you want. Jason, there's like 20 of them listening and watching right now. And the moment I said that, they were all like, oh, he knows. Let's see. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. What is that? What kind of band was this, Roy? What kind of crazy stuff are you listening to? Did we just find out like some sort of fetish that Rory has? I don't see anything. Oh, wait a second. No? That ain't it. So we started off, Rory brought up the subject of boobies as though it was being talked about. Then he starts talking about this favorite band of his called Hooters. I think we're finding out a lot of things. That's what bikinis are just like brutal about. Like they just show everything off. You know what I mean? I think it should be the only permissible bathing suit. Maybe when I'm dictator, I will ban other bathing suits. Although that's not true. I think I would have bikinis and those, like, I don't know what decade it was, but when women's bathing suits were like costumes, I think I would permit those and bikinis, and everything else would be banned. You know the ones I'm talking about? They were like all decorated and it was an event. The bathing suit was an event. They didn't show a lot. That wasn't the point. The point was that it was like supposed to be this pretty attire that they could swim in. I think those and bikinis and nothing else. Everything else is illegal. All right. Victorian time traveler, Florida man goes to debate naked and covered in foam. You would totally fit in the state of Florida. Yeah, I would. Sunny place for shady people. You know, I would get votes just on that alone. I'd have to have some guy follow me around with a foam machine the whole time. Because the foam doesn't just stay. You got to have it working. Right? There's got to be a machine making it. And you know, little Marco wouldn't be able to say, he wouldn't be able to talk at all. As soon as I came up on stage with all that foam on me, and that guy following me around with the foam machine, a handheld version, Rubio would just be speechless. Art Acrobats financially gifting $2.99. Thank you so much, good brother. God bless you, man. He says, for the $2.99 is 4 Hooters crabs. Oh, so they got some good crabs? Or did you get a case of crabs? Which is it? Did you eat some good crabs or did you get the crabs? I mean, it's not shameful to get the crabs, I guess. Isn't it just like lice for your crotch or something? And depends on, I mean, what'd she look like? I don't know. Was it a wild night? Or did you just eat the crabs? Maybe you did both. Oh, Carlisle says some women have sort of have the bodies that look best in the burqa swimwear line. All right, well maybe I would wear that, allow that then too. Yeah, actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, there are some folks that need much more clothing. Much more clothing than they normally put on at the beach. That's the whole problem with, like, when you think about a Dan is with us. Hello. When you think about these, hear about a nude beach, and your mind, when you hear about a nude beach, your mind does the wrong thing right away every time. You envision the best looking possible bodies imaginable. They're out there and they're all this like naked for you to see. Somehow you're like fugly asses out there, but they're great looking, right? They're great. But then of course the reality is the reality is that the vast majority of them, you want a lot more clothing on. You like want Saudi Arabia to invade. And oh God. Implement some like serious draconian restrictions. I'm sure they could have a guy go out, you know, specifically for a bathing suit assessment. He'd be like, you get a tarp, and you get a tarp, and then you get a tarp. Rory says his wife used to serve drinks at the Hooters to the Hooters, the band, not as one of the Hooters, in a bar named Under the Blue Moon in Chestnut Hill, Philadelphia. Is that west? Is that on the west side of Philadelphia? Which is the more anti-white side? Isn't it the west side? That's the day. It used to be, well, it was like all white, right? Back in the day. Promethean Healing is with us and says bathing suit reforms. Yep. Vote yes. Yes. Yes on the bikinis and costumes bill. That's right. That's right. And then burqa beachwear for the others. Tarp wear. Because we just don't want to see it. We just don't want to see it. I know they want to say that they look good. They get all like sassy and uppity, like I look good. No, you fucking don't. No, you don't. You really don't. You saying you look good doesn't do anything. You really don't. You look like you're a substitute for Epicac. That's what you look like. You look like there ain't no amount of pills that are going to be able to restore any healthy sexual function for about 6 months for me. That's what you look like. So, no, you don't look good. I look good. I look good. I know I look good. I look good. You better say I look good. I'm going to destroy your hamburger shop. What was that they just did up there in, was it New York, New Jersey? Had to pay like an extra $1.25 for sauce. And they're like, fine, we're going to tear this mother down. We're going to tear it down. That's why you need to have those electrified floors. It's a good way to empty the house. You just have a button. I mean, you could have that anyhow for fun. If you're a business owner, I guarantee you people would show up to and experience it in this day and age. It would just be like one other vacuous thing to do in life. There's a burger joint that has an electrified floor and they sometimes electrocute you. Let's go. I want to be able to, that's on my bucket list. I want to be able to say I lost consciousness and wet my pants at the burger joint when they shocked everybody. Why not? Dude Bro Moment says it was a taco stand. Was it a taco stand? Really? I mean, how much do you expect from a taco stand? You're looking for like French fine dining from the taco stand? That's nuts. Azimuth Clark says, don't go to West Philadelphia. Not a nice place. Shit, no, it's not. Not today. You better not go over there. I was up there last year. Me and Jared George. What is this now? I think anything that goes above the knees should be banned, as well as anything showing cleavage, with the exception of swimsuits. So anything showing anything. You know, there are some suits that show off a bunch, and even on a good-looking girl, look wretched. You ladies know that. Why is that? It's the strangest thing. Victorian Time Traveler says mid 1800s. I remember it. Are you talking about the like the swim costumes? Those were actually, ladies, believe it or not, there are guys. I mean, I could appreciate a swim costume. I've seen some of these like old black and white, and some of these ones that have been colored. The photos have been colored, so you see what the thing actually the suit actually looks, and it looks fun. It looks fun. I mean, and yeah, if you're gonna be someplace and you're gonna have like your kids, I wouldn't want to have kids where there's like, you know, a lot of stuff that's visible. So there are probably beaches for, I guess, more respectable attire. So they attacked the taco stand. They made a mess of that place, and the employees just roll back into the back, and they're just like, we're just going to close the what is that called again? Like the panic room. We're just going to close the panic room. That's what every business and every home, if we don't recapture our destiny in Western civilization, is going to have a panic room. And you know how long that will last. Because if everything has a panic room, they're just going to head to the power plant, water treatment plant, just like in South Africa. So we're talking about the bathing suits for ladies. Guys, the best bathing suit for a guy is a full pair of trunks, not the ones that go below your knees, because then you look like you're like this weird Martian dwarf thing with like these little limbs underneath of you. I mean, it's just weird looking. It's just weird. Don't do that. If you're a guy and you've been doing that, stop it. Get yourself a pair of like nice regular trunks. Do not, and if you better be in a swimming competition to wear any ball huggers. You go out to the beach. I don't know what's going on in Europe. It's changing, thankfully. I think the laughing has gotten to these guys. I think the endless laughter. But you better be, if you're going to wear ball huggers, you better be in a swimming competition or hung like me. Otherwise, trunks. And I'm going to be in trunks anyhow because they look better. You can look good in a pair of trunks, but not the ones that go beneath the knees. I don't get those at all. Like Martian dwarfs out there running around the beach. And I always see the guys who have like these trunks on that go below the knees with the like little Martian legs that stick out from underneath of them. It's like they have this giant midsection. They got this giant midsection and they got like bird chests. And then the legs that stick out from underneath them covered in like long black hair. And I'm like, you're not getting this one right, brother. You are not doing this one right. You got to change. Somebody's got to tell you. You got to hear that laughter across the Atlantic Ocean for all those guys wearing ball huggers. Golly. I have an idea on how that got started in Europe. I think all the ladies over there knew it was a joke from the beginning, and they all got together and they were like, let's just tell them it looks good. And they've been laughing ever since. Ever since. Yeah, man. I mean, the crazy thing is, what about the damn kids on the beach? People have no sense. Now, I will tell you, I have gone to a Renaissance festival or two. And I used to wear an outfit of an aristocrat when I would go to the Renaissance festival. And that maybe I will dig out one of the pictures to share, but they are for adults because I wore like these very rich looking, they weren't, but the whole idea is that it's all fake. But these very rich looking tights. And I did not wear a cod piece. So when I would go into the areas where there were kids, I had this beautiful hat with feathers. Oh, it was magnificent. I still have it. I mean, I would take it off and I would hold it up front because I'm sane and moral, and people's kids don't need to see that, for the love of God. Why are you going to let the kids see that? And you got these weird parents that are like, they're fine with it. I'm not fine with it. I don't care if they're fine with it. I don't care if you're fine with it. I'm not fine with it. Nuts. Literally. I look good though. I looked so good. It was I mean, there wasn't much left to the imagination in the tights because it was tights all the way around. And then I had this very sharp looking vest. And there was this white like shirt that had like this like kind of a ruffle around it, and kind of like these big sleeves. I look like, you know, one of the wealthy, one of the aristocrats back in the day. Boots that came up to the bottom of my knee. Yeah. Making myself horny. I look good. I look good. But yeah, they said the kids would be fine with it. I don't give a shit. Weird people today. There are weird people in this world. He says, pirate shirt from Seinfeld. No. I saw that on a commercial. I didn't watch that show, but I saw that on a commercial. It looked good because it was like open, like in the front, and the vest comes together underneath of it. So you could see, especially it would be real hot out there early in the season. And I'd be glistening. Enough about that. Crazy talk. That's all made up. None of that happened. You think any of that's true? Shit. Yeah, 0022 is right. It's everywhere. You dress provocatively in front of kids. Fernell said, he quoted, says, making myself horny thinking about myself. Oh boy. That was crazy. I can't believe I did that. A guy came up one time. Well, more than once, but one time was bad. I had one of my brothers with me, wanted to fight the guy. Guy came up and he walks in close and he said, put a fucking cod piece on for God's sake. My brother's like, what'd he say? I was like, don't worry about it, man. I had girls. None of this is true. I was standing there and I was looking sharp. You know what I like to have as the season went from warm to cool? You know, it was really good. Was a good hot coffee when it was once it started getting cool. Weather started changing. You go to the festival and you're out there. It started getting sort of like evening time, especially in the woods, and get a good hot coffee. That was nice, but that's something different. I was the reason it came to mind was where this happened was kind of close to where it's all made up though, kind of close to where they sold the coffee, which of course I would know exactly where that was. And I was standing there, and I saw these girls. You know, they were like in their early 20s, and they were standing about maybe like 10 yards, so like 8 meters off to my right, and I could see them in my peripheral vision. I'd look over, they'd like look away. They were all like pointing and giggling and carrying on, and I laughed because that would happen, and from time to time. The next thing I know is I feel this like presence, like right here, and I turn and I see that one of the girls, I guess, had been dared or maybe just wanted to get the picture or whatever. She had come like around, snuck up behind me, and wanted to get a picture with me without me even knowing. So when I looked around, I saw her there. She was like, oh shit. And then I looked back and they were getting ready to take the picture. And I was like, yeah, take that picture. Yeah, that didn't happen. All that's make believe. I can't believe you people believe these things. Let's see what's here. Double 022 says the kids see what adults dress like, and now my area, little girls dress in yoga pants. Oh, come on. And shorts with their cheeks hanging out because they are impressionable. Well, their parents need to step in. That's dreadful. Always put especially the little girls, that are really maturing quickly and they look older than they are. Put them in, let them wear, if they want to wear a dress, they want whatever it might be, but make sure it's got like a giant daisy on the front. Make sure it's clearly a little girl, right? Make sure that everyone knows, that sees her. This is a lovely little lady, and she's still a child. Don't let them dress like that. That's terrible. You can go to the damn Walmart here, not young girls. You can see ladies in yoga pants that definitely should not be in yoga pants. I mean, where there's enough friction there to start a forest fire every step they take. If you ever in a survival scenario, you just need one of these ladies in their yoga pants. Have them walk around a little bit, put a little bit of kindling between those thighs. That backside in those yoga pants look like the side of a barn. You just snatch it out in time and throw that lit kindling on the fire. You're good to go. I should break out some of those pictures. I never have, I don't think. All right. We've been going for a long time, just hanging out. We're having just a little fun. I got to pop my ears again. Wow. The message is going to be lost. We need to have like a cutout of this stream for all the guys out there who are dating, or at least a timestamp for when I was actually talking about that, not all these fictitious stories. All right. Do y'all have any final words? People dressing provocatively in public don't care about the children who can see. Yeah. I mean, come on. You shouldn't dress like. You shouldn't dress provocatively in front of children, for the love of God. And if you're in a scenario where you don't expect for there to be children and kids show up, at least me, I cover up, because you need to have Western civilization. We have standards. I mean, we're just not like all uncouth, like barnyard animals. You can have your fun. You just do your fun where it's appropriate. But we have standards. We have what's appropriate here, what's appropriate there. And then you uphold those. The only people who come around and say, well, what does it matter? They have no standards. They're not the kind of people who build civilization. You just tell them to shut the fuck up. You don't listen to them. When they show up and they're like, let's evaluate why this should be. No. Your kind didn't produce squat. We have standards. Different standards for different occasions. Hyperborean Dream wrote, I want to kiss myself. Fernell says, good stream, brother. I needed the laughs and the great analysis. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Machiavelli Sucks is here. Yeah, definitely clip the bits to share where I say I'm a dictator. Clip those bits out, share those widely. Actually, you know what? That might get quite a bit of attention from the rest of the white sympathetic sphere. They might be like, really? He's taken a shine to the dictator idea. I mean, how else are we going to win if I don't be a dictator? Promethean promulgation. Jason Kuna for Occidentus Rex. I'll take it. And I'll do the most work. I'll work the hardest. I'll take the crown and I'll do the most work. Wherefore do I assume these royalties and not refuse to reign? Refusing to accept as great a share of hazard as of honor, do alike to him of hazard more, as he above the rest high honored sits. And after all of that hilarity, we end on John Milton's Paradise Lost. A quote put into the mouth of Satan. Rory Herbert, $5 financial gift. Dear Jason, may I ask you a serious question? No. When we play rugby football in England, yes, it's interesting. I've watched while at the gym. We wear a garment known as the jock strap under our shorts to keep our various male accoutrements in order. Do you have the same thing in American football? We absolutely do. And I'm not sure because we have jock straps, but also the jock straps, they can be worn by themselves, or they can receive a cup, which is a piece of plastic, hard plastic, that has that's designed to gather up the goodies, and then has like a foam. Rubio would know a lot about this. Has like a foam edge to it, so that if impacted, it sort of disperses the energy of the impact around the jewels and over as much area of the lower abdomen and between the legs as possible, so as to prevent injury. And it's a good thing that we have those. It's not a requirement by any means, but it's a good thing that we have those for many reasons. I mean, I've in American football have had incidental impact there that I know would have been just crushing. But there was one time when I was in a pile-up. I'd carried the football. I was a sophomore playing senior football, and I was in a pile-up, so I carried the football, and I was tackled, and then a bunch of people jumped on, so there's this big melee. And as people were getting off of the pile, there was an athlete on the other team, was not of my race, and I had been tackled in such a way that my legs were apart. I was kind of like on my side, and my legs were kind of apart like this, and I had one leg over a guy, and then I don't even know, this leg might have been trapped under somebody else. And there was an athlete on the other team, not of my race, who was with his cleats kicking the bottom of his cleats as hard as he could into my crotch. If I had not had the proper gear on, I mean, that could have sterilized me. I mean, that's just the mentality of some of these monsters in the world. Playing a game, it's a magnificent sport to simulate combat American football, but at the end of the day, it's a game. And yes, you get angry. Yes, you sometimes you do things to really. I mean, I did things to really hurt other people within the rules of the game, to really hurt other people, but within the rules. That is the rule. That is the way the game is played. But to try to maim outside of the rules, to be like stomping, to try to be stomping my genitals with cleats, was certainly outside of the rules. Fortunately, I had a cup on, and I didn't receive my inner thighs, though, because he didn't have perfect aim, so where his cleats hit my inner thighs, it tore the skin wide open. But I got him back good. I got him back real good. He was on the defense. I was on the offense, and we had a pass. I guess it was a pass play. The ball ended up downfield, and I sprinted downfield parallel to him, and he was just jogging. At no point on the football field is a fair play off limits, or is a fair move off limits. So you have to be aware the entire time. If you're not, you can be obliterated. And this fat POS, not of my race, was kind of jogging down the field. He wasn't going to catch up to the ball and the guys that were running down the field. So he was kind of just like jogging down the field that direction. So I ran up and I got a little bit ahead of him, and I came back with the forehead of my helmet and total blind shot without him knowing it was coming. I threw a devastating block, forehead right into the bottom part of the helmet here, so that it would simulate a punch as much as possible. And he was unconscious. He didn't know what hit him. So, but mine was a fair block. Our guys were running, and I was blocking this fat POS on the field, whereas he was trying to sterilize me in a melee. Total piece of shit. But yeah, he didn't know what hit him. He had no idea. My God, I was at like not a full speed, but close. He's just jogging along. Crushed him. Lights out, exactly, Montana kid. Lights out, mother. Lights out. And when I got on the sideline, everybody was like, holy shit. You destroyed. Nobody, they didn't even watch what happened downfield at that. They saw that and heard that collision, and they were like, holy shit. They had to help that fat POS off the field. I was like, yeah, that's what you get, buddy. That's what you get. He'll remember that. Probably for a long time. When he's there now, with his Alzheimer's or whatever's kicking in now, wondering, what did this? Did you have any severe brain trauma? That white mother. Damn right it was that white mother. And it's going to happen again, buddy. You keep giving us shit, making things hard. I'm ready to be dictator. Not a nice guy when I've been wronged. And on that note, roll out.